Due to the 18-plus nature of Hazbin Hotel, this episode of Okay, But Did You Know comes with a content warning for adult themes and crude language. If this is a special that you don't wish to listen to, we completely understand and invite you to join us back at our regularly scheduled time next week.
This is your official spoiler warning for Hazbin Hotel Season 1. As we will be talking about the season as a whole, spoilers lie ahead.
Hi friends, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about our favorite TV and media with a friend who's never seen it before.
We have another special for you today. Rather than talking about a specific topic or breaking down one of our shows episode by episode, we thought we would talk about Season 1 of Hazbin Hotel because that has currently been rotting our brains for the last couple of months.
Every day.
Every single day. So Hazbin Hotel is an animated dark comedy musical series created by Vivian Madrano. The original pilot was posted on YouTube in 2019 and was subsequently picked up to be produced by A24 and later distributed by Prime Video, where they already ordered the show through Season 2.
Hazbin Hotel follows a cast of characters who populate the Pride Ring of Hell. Once a year, a legion of exorcist angels descends upon hell to kill the sinners who populate Pentagram City, to keep them from growing in numbers and uprising against heaven. Charlie, daughter of Lucifer and Lilith and princess of hell, has an idea to save her people. She wants to help them cleanse their souls at her Hazbin Hotel by becoming better people so that they can ascend to heaven. No one around her thinks this is a particularly good idea, nor one that will be successful. But they are willing to help her along the way to saving the people of her city from heaven's tyranny.
This cast is filled with quite literally a metric ton of notable Broadway and voiceover actors. Among them, and this is just to name a few, and I'm sure I'll bring up the ones that I didn't mention later in the episode, but among them are Erica Henningsen, who plays Charlie, Stephanie Beatrice as Vaggie, Jeremy Jordan as Lucifer, Alex Brightman as Adam and Sir Pentious, Keith David as Husk, Kamiko Glenn as Nifty, and many, many, many more extremely talented people. So I will start this with, as a Jew, I see the religiousness of this, because this is about hell and heaven and demons and angels and things. I have a thing, and I know this isn't entirely accurate because Judaism doesn't believe in hell, but I still don't feel firm in that this is strictly like a Christianity thing, for the sole factor of there's no Jesus present.
I
know there's more to Christianity than that, but my brain is just like, I know there's hell and heaven. I know that's how Christianity works, but still there's no Jesus. So
as a deconstructed Baptist,
I
don't see this as Jesus. I see this as biblical.
Okay.
Because you have the Old Testament.
That's true.
So I don't really see, like, it can still be very religious if you have the Jesus aspect not out of it, or not in it, because my brain works that way.
True.
Because you go Old Testament, yeah, this is Old Testament. This goes back so much further than this is before all that. And I'm really curious if we'll ever see Jesus, which would be really interesting because we have Lucifer and Adam and all that. I want to see Eve. That would be really funny.
Yep, that is the thing that the fandom really wants to see. Is they want to know what happened to Eve. They want to know why Lilith is wherever she is and where she is. Because at the very end, we do see her at the very end of the show. I think the speculation is that she's in Eden and not necessarily in heaven, which I think would make more sense personally.
I think so too, but on that though, with the religious mythology, like as a deconstructed Baptist, this was amazing.
I'm glad.
And I know for a lot of Catholics as well, it was like actually really healing in some senses of like just the show itself. I'm obsessed with the religious portion of it because when we really get deep into it with everything going on between heaven and hell and it being like, well, why does this work this way? Why are we killing people in hell? Like, why is all this happening? And the whole thing that Emily and Charlie get into, yelling at Sarah and everybody else about is like, what the fuck, you guys? This is not okay. Like, it was just, deconstruction.
Well, that was like the first thing I saw, which is unfortunate, I guess, for the reveal of Vaggie at the very end, right? Because I think people have been waiting, because again, the pilot was posted on YouTube in 2019, so people were waiting 5 years for this. So people were spending 5 years, and I'll admit, for myself, I only just started watching it in January, right before the last episodes aired, and you watched it a few weeks ago. Yeah, so like we are brand new to this fandom. We fully admit this.
Yeah, I've been slowly watching the other show on YouTube, Hell of a Boss. I'm a few episodes in, but the last episode hasn't been posted.
Yeah.
And with things like this, like I've watched a couple, I'm really enjoying it, but as a mom, it's really hard to watch.
Yeah.
in the middle of the day, and then my husband
Yeah.
does not have interest, so it's like I only get so much time to watch it.
Uh-huh.
And now everybody's like, well, now that Hazbin Hotel's dropped, we're like, okay, when are we getting this last episode of Hell of the Boss
Yeah.
then? It's sitting here.
Exactly.
Where is it?
Hmm.
And I'm like, yes, please, where is it? So I can binge it.
Yeah, right.
Please.
Like with that scene at the end of that scene, that segment at the end of You Didn't Know, where Charlie and Emily do "If hell is forever, then heaven must be a lie." I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I'll
No,
sing
I know
other
what you
things
mean.
later, but I would like to, but I won't. That was the first thing I'd seen on TikTok. I just kept seeing that over and over and over again, and I'm like, this isn't a flex, and I also don't like, not the thing of like I don't feel good about this. It's just this is just the thing. I don't have any level of religious trauma. I was raised Jewish, but like knowing that the laws of Judaism are weird if you pick them apart a little too closely. We're not very religious people, so like I didn't have that. I don't have that same religious trauma that, or at least that feeling that something's missing when you kind of deconstruct yourself from that kind of religion that I feel like a lot of people have,
Oh, yeah.
that they latched onto with that of like hypocrisy of the church and all these other things. And I'm like, I just saw this as people being hypocrites. I see that all the time, whether I'm in a church or not.
It's okay. I was indoctrinated into the church. I guess you could say indoctrinated. I was raised in the church, which some would see that as indoctrination.
Yeah.
Southern Baptist, which there are so many different sects of Christianity. You got your Catholicism as well. There's a lot going on within it that's really hard. Because, like, for me, my family was like heavy in the church when I was figuring out that I was bisexual.
Yeah.
Which, being a queer individual who's deconstructed, stuff like that hits hard because you're being told, "Oh, he loves you." Oh, but not that part of you.
Yeah, exactly.
It hits really hard. And I still have family members who are very religious, and I'm like, that more power to you if that's how you feel, but I'm still going to be me, which thankfully goes well.
Yeah.
But that's not how it is for everybody. So when we do, you've got also when people just start deconstructing and they're just seeing it, it is so hard. It is so hard. I've had queer friends who are just blatantly like, God hates me. Like, I can't be myself because the one being that is supposed to love me doesn't. And so deconstruction's really hard.
I'm sure.
Which is why I was really grateful for this show, because it's just like, this is really healing. Because if I remember correctly, I've seen quite a few different things about the creator of these entities growing up Catholic.
Yeah.
So the knowledge of Catholicism there, because Catholicism is so much more than Baptist.
When they say write what you know, I mean, this is what they mean.
Oh, like, definitely.
Because they're not saying like only write from your, I mean, not that people should write from their own lived experiences, but like you pull from like stories, you pull from the experiences that you've had. You're not just writing like the facts and the things that you know. You're writing everything, and you're deconstructing it, and you're helping yourself heal from it. Because I think she said that like she's a little bit of her is in pretty much all of the characters. It's she's fighting some demon in all of the characters.
Which a lot of us do when we write. Yeah. Like, everything I've written, I'm sure there's plenty of my own trauma within it. But religious trauma does exist for a lot of people.
It does.
While religion works for a lot of people, for a lot of us, it doesn't. And so that's how you end up with things like Hazbin Hotel.
Exactly.
Didn't work out.
But speaking of the wonderful, massive cast of characters, we did put up some superlatives that we'll probably ping in here as happens with the conversation. So we did both have a top 5 list of characters. I believe mine's 5. I don't know how long yours is.
Mine's 5. I did 5.
Okay, so do you want to go first, or shall I?
Okay, so I'm going 5 to 1.
Okay.
Because that's how I like to do things. 5 is Alistair. Okay. I love Alistair so much. My problem, though, with what I've seen with the character of Alistair is, one, people not understanding him whatsoever.
Absolutely.
But my favorite thing is the whole time, like, from the beginning, you learn that Alistair's like, I'm here to help because I want to watch people, like, do horrible. I'm here to watch everyone fuck up.
His whole thing is it's entertaining to watch people try really hard and fail spectacularly.
Exactly. And so, like, even into the point of, like, so many people seem to lose it at Hell's Greatest Dad, where he's, like, he's doing that to fuck with Lucifer, and that's it.
Absolutely.
That is the only reason he's doing it, and it makes me so happy.
Call me Dad. I will be singing this entire
No, that's
episode.
perfectly fine. You have more confidence than I do.
I've just been doing this for a while.
Yeah. I do it at home and in my car where no one else can hear me.
Oh, same. I'm the genius that puts it on the internet. Yeah, if anyone wants to hear me do all of the voices of multiple Hazbin Hotel songs, check out my TikTok, Once a Time Like Conspiracy, under the collection voiceover covers. I've done More Than Anything, I've done Hell is Forever, and I've done Stayed Gone.
Hell is forever, whether you like it or not. You can't say that and me not go into that. Like,
I
it
know.
sucks,
I think
man.
I've also done an alt key cover of me doing just Husk's part of Loser Baby, which people are free to duet if they want to. If they're over 18.
Yeah. We'll get
That's
into
in the
that.
caption. I request people only do the over 18 because of the song.
4 is Lucifer.
Okay.
I love Lucifer. The rubber ducky fascination for one. But
I love it.
But as well as his part, like his character, healing
Yeah.
my own daddy issues.
Yeah, the duck thing, apparently they knew they wanted his workshop to be filled with something, and truthfully, I think Vivian said her friend just recommended, hey, why don't you just make it a bunch of rubber ducks? It was just an offhand comment that were like, yep, we're doing that.
I love it. 3 is a little weird.
Okay.
It's specifically Husk and Angel together.
Okay, Husk
Like-
Dust can be a thing.
Like, I like both characters for who they are, but there's
Mhm.
something about the two of them at like Loser Baby on. The
Uh-huh.
two of them together, that yes,
It's a good partnership.
it's a good partnership. I love it. I had to count that as one just because
Yeah.
if they're not together, it's not as fun.
No, that's fair.
2 is Emily.
She's a cute character. She's only in one episode. Wait, she's two. She's in the last
she's
season,
in,
but
like,
still.
A few minutes of that
She
one
is.
episode. But that whole interaction, I have like watched and torn this apart so much of
Mhm.
you can just kind of tell. My theory and a lot of other people's theories of Sarah getting so scared
Mhm.
when Emily's making all these realizations is that she's gonna fall.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, ooh, Emily, fall.
that's fair.
Like, I need that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 is Nifty.
Nifty is a brand all her own.
Yay, pain.
Yay, pain!
I love Nifty.
I love that that line. Not only is it like fans' favorite thing, but it's the yay pain, but also the sometimes I kill motherbugs in front of their children as a warning to others. That's the actors' favorite lines also. Like
I
a
love
lot of them
Kimiko.
have said that's their favorite line. She's so good. Kimiko Glenn is so good.
Amazing. Phenomenal. All right.
So mine is similar. There's similarities, but
Okay.
So 5. So we'll also do 5 to 1. Number 5 is Serpentious.
I love that.
He grew on me as a character over the multiple rewatches because I say I've started watching it in January, but quite frankly, I've watched it easily 4 or 5 times.
And then you have all the
Um,
TikTok clips we watch.
And then there's all the TikTok clips. You know, he's just I don't want to live without my minions. Nobody catch me. It's something about that is just so funny, and it's Adam Brightman is so good because like a lot of his voiceover work is kind of he just using his voice or is kind of using. I call the two categories of his Beetlejuice voice or his Dewey Finn voice. Quite frankly, those are kind of his two acting modes. But Serpentious is something that is like a whole new thing for him, and he's so good with it.
My egg boys.
The egg boys. That's my little egg boys. He's so good.
Amazing.
Number 4 is Angel. As I do see what you mean about Husker Dust together as a duo.
Yeah.
But there's something Angel is just like I just want to give him a hug. You know, he's very, very tall.
Very tall.
And also Poison is a song that like it gets stuck in your head. You kind of just get stuck in listening to it. And Blake Roman, who plays Angel, is so good.
Poison, definitely. Whew.
It's such a hard song to listen to, but it's at the same time so good. And just seeing his character growth over the course of the show is just so satisfying to watch, even over the course of the first season.
Poison made me cry the first time as a survivor. So like I have to say at least 2. I watched the first time through on opioids because
on pain
I was in like and I would make it clear, very strong pain meds because I had just got out of the hospital, and so like what I don't recommend.
Mm-hmm.
So my emotional response the first watch through was an experience.
Mm-hmm. So number 3 for me is Vaggie.
Oh yes.
Again, she's the supportive girlfriend. She's not quite the golden retriever girlfriend and the black cat girlfriend. I would call her the German Shepherd guard dog girlfriend.
I could see that. I was gonna go
That's
Pitbull,
very
but that's my own brain.
Pitbull, but same kind of thing. Like because also Stephanie Beatrice in talking about the character, she talks so much about like how much she loves her girlfriend and all of the support and like how much she's just so gay for her girlfriend. I'm listening to it, I'm like, we get it. You like that your characters like it's like we get it. I'm like, I get what you're going for here, but like so again, it's just I love the character, I love the support. I think her songs are some of the most underrated ones, but frankly, people have their commentary about Stephanie Beatrice's singing voice in the show, and like their argument that she's singing in like the higher register that she mostly uses for we hear a lot more like in Encanto.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like they think that doesn't fit the character. I'm like, okay, but it's hard to sing in character voice. Yeah. It's very hard to sing in character voice if you're not used to it.
And she's actually really good at it.
She's phenomenal. I would like, but my argument with this is that the one line we really hear her sing in her character voice, in You Didn't Know, basically being like Charlie, like Charlie, keep a cool head. I would think that's the most I would say compared to everything else, that has the least support.
Yeah.
Of everything else we hear her sing. So like that's my thing is like let her sing where it's healthy for her voice. That's my thing. But I love Maggie as a character. Number 2 is Charlie. She is our semi-unhinged Disney princess. I say that as I have an argument later about why we shouldn't compare this to Disney, but still, that's what she is. And I like watching this show through her lens.
That energy.
She has that energy. Erica does such a good job with the voice, and it's the voices for me really latch, the characters most of the time. So that's usually what it is for me. But it's just so good. And number 1 is Nifty, because quite frankly, she's a category all her own.
And Nifty only has so many lines, but you're still just like, I love her.
She's not in a lot of the show, but she's so good.
Her stabbing Adam in the end and be like, what did you do? She's like, Charlie said to stab.
Yeah. I'll admit though, it gave me vibes, for spoiler alert, I guess, for Game of Thrones. It gave me vibes of Arya killing the Night King.
Yeah, I have no reference for that. I have no idea what any of that means.
Basically just that, like, it is the least suspecting person, and it's a little underwhelming, but I'm okay with it.
That makes sense.
But my thing about not comparing this to Disney, because it is unfair to compare this to a Disney release. Like, I see a lot of that. Like, here's what Disney could be, like, Disney did wrong compared to Hazbin Hotel. I'm like, okay, we're going to start here. Hazbin is 16 plus for most of the show, with the exception of the 4th episode, which is 18 plus. It's marked as that because of the content warnings on it. Disney is for family viewing and children. Most of the animated stuff they put out is at the most PG, right? So like starting there, they're not even the same thing. But then also you can't compare a theatrical release to a streaming release. They're just, again, categorically not the same thing. It does nothing to compare them other than they are animated and both have music. But they're just like not fair.
We've had plenty of Disney that has had Broadway performers as part of the project and do that.
Yeah.
Not all of them have been, and I'm not saying that they haven't been as like talented or anything like that, but there's something about using the type of music it has been, it being very like the musical that it is, and having people straight from Broadway doing it. Like it's a whole different ballgame.
It is.
Because, Lin-Manuel Miranda, yes, he has written some wonderful things for Disney, and he has brought in some wonderful people on these projects with Disney. But it makes me go back to when we had, was it Encanto? That a lot of people, like, they really fell in love with the songs. And everybody's like, oh my God, why is it so good? And I'm like, welcome to Broadway.
Yeah, it's when you get people that actually know how to sing and know how to do it well. Like, it truthfully, the one thing I can say with the casting of this, because the pilot that was on in 2019 is a different cast. I am okay with the fact that they recast with these people. I am not okay with the fact that they did not tell the original cast they were recasting.
I didn't know that.
That's something I found out. I saw that in a video that they apparently didn't tell the original cast they were recasting.
Don't like that.
So that's not okay. But at the end of the day, they did pick people that were going to do a lot of this justice. And like, I joke that they hired James Monroe Egelhart to sing 3 lines because he's Zestial. Like they literally paid him to come in and like literally like just talk for a few minutes, and like I don't know how much he got paid for that, but also he's in Hell of a Boss, so like he's already kind of part of the universe. Like they pull a lot of the same people. But I don't know, again with the comparing to Disney, it just it's
Yeah.
again, it's springing the thing of that animation is only for kids, and it's not,
It's
because
not.
this is not for kids. People will say like, oh, this show is going to, is going to indoctrinate your children with anti-Christian values, and it's not going to, because it's not for children. Your children shouldn't be watching it.
No, it makes me think of like when we were kids and a lot of like Family Guy was a big thing. And
Yeah.
so many parents for over the years have been up in arms like, "What are you why are we allowing this on TV? What are you doing to my kids?" And a lot of the response was, "Why are you letting your kids watch this?
It's rated TV-14.
It's not for children."
Exactly. Like, look at other animations. Like, look at Family Guy. Oh, the whole Fox animation lineup of Family Guy, Bob's Burgers.
At first on Bob's, we've at least learned that Bob's
yeah,
well, I mean,
depends on the season.
depends on the season, but most of the time, like a lot of episodes are family safe on Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
But
you got The Simpsons. You got
American
that
Dad.
Sausage Party movie. American Dad. That Sausage Party movie.
Sausage Party. No.
Like, animation. Look at a lot of anime. Animation does not mean for kids. Like, and truthfully, like, because again, this show, if it was a movie, even if it was a movie on Amazon, they would give it a regular rating. If it was a movie, because the runtime's about just under 3 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty much a movie.
It's basically a movie. Like, it would be rated R. There is constant. I think I have justification for why. But there's like near constant, content that while the visual content's not explicit, there's a constant excessive cursing, sexual references, depictions of alcohol and drug use, violence, gore, all the things that you would see in adult media. It just happens to be animated. Doesn't mean it's for kids. So,
yeah,
because it does read to me very much of like early 2010s YouTube humor, which makes sense.
Happy Tree Friends.
Happy Tree Friends. Like, it very much gave me the vibes, and not just because Darren Criss is also in this, but it gave me very much Star Kid animation. Yes. Because Darren Criss is St. Peter. Because it gave me very much like Twisted, Me and My Dick, like a lot of like their earlier shows.
Oh God, Me and My Dick. That just unlocked memories.
It's that same kind of vibe, which makes sense because if the original pilot was on YouTube in 2019, the creator said that it took 2 years to animate it. So figure it was, recorded and written and done by 2017. Figure she's been working on it for a few years. That would put the inception of it probably around 2013, 2014.
Oh my God.
So like in theory, that's the right era for like that kind of like era of YouTube humor, which makes sense.
Yeah, YouTube is not the same.
No, it is not.
I miss old YouTube.
It was a vibe.
Charlie.
What?
Charlie the Unicorn.
Oh, Charlie the Unicorn. It's a magical little blurred.
Thank you. I knew you would do it.
It took me a second. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because Charlie's a character on the show.
I mean, fair, but Charlie.
Yeah. So, do you want to do our ranking of the music, and then I can go into my very long rant that I'll try and make not terribly long about how this is basically structured like a stage musical?
Yes. Okay, so
let's do our rankings. So we ranked the songs
16-1. There's 16 songs.
I'm also going to try and not put commentary in here because based off of how we did the characters, that would take an hour if I put in commentary, so I'm going to be quiet.
If we want to talk about specific songs, we can definitely
do
that afterwards, because I definitely have some things to say about
of our own rankings. I'm going to not interject because this will take forever if I do.
It will. And I just feel the need to say that these are our opinions.
Yes, opinions are subjective. If our answers be different from each other, if they're different than yours, that's because we are all different people. Also, I can only speak for myself. I do consider this a no-skip soundtrack, so just because something is last does not mean that I would skip it.
I skip sometimes. It starts with sorry, and that's why it's last. Just because...
How dare you? Sorry.
I'm not a fan. I'm just...
It's okay.
It's okay. So 16 is It Starts With Sorry, just because I think that's probably like the one I've seen that's mostly skipped. 15 is Welcome to Heaven. It's a bop, it is. But like, it's Welcome to Heaven. Okay.
It's also short.
14 is Whatever It Takes, because I am just not, like, it's not on my list. Like, it's good. I listen to it. I don't skip it. 13, Happy Day in Hell. Great song, just not in my top 10. Same with Finale. Finale is 12. More Than Anything Reprise is 11. Stayed Gone is 10. 9 is Poison.
Okay.
8 is Hell is Forever. 7 is ready for this. It's so much fun. That one's fun.
Mm-hmm. That's a
6
very
is
fun one.
6 is respectless.
Okay.
5 is out for love. There is something about what's her name? I'm so sorry. I'm bad at names.
Daphne Mega.
Her and Stephanie singing together, like I loved In the Heights, so like seeing them together again, I was like, this is so fun. I love this.
Yeah. For those who don't know, the voice actors for Vaggie and Carmela Carmine played girlfriends in the Heights.
It was amazing. And there's an age gap. 4, Hell's Greatest Dad. I love watching Lucifer and Alistair go at it. 3 is Loser Baby. 2 is More Than Anything. And 1 is You Didn't Know.
Okay.
So mine is going to be different than yours.
It's funny because, so ours are different, but there are some where the numbers are exactly the same.
It's
funny.
Okay.
So 16 is Welcome to Heaven, and I do feel like that's a very common thing to be at the bottom of this fandom's list, is most people put that at the very bottom. It's
a bop.
It's a bop. Again, I say for myself, I have 0 skips. If I listen to the soundtrack, I'm not skipping anything unless I'm just like in the mood to listen to the same song on repeat, which has happened, but that's different.
Yeah, I've done 16. That.
15 is More Than Anything.
Ouch.
I know. But just because, like, I kept moving things around, basically. That's more the case of, again, that's why I say 0 skips. I've done a voiceover cover of it. I do love it. I love all of these songs. I just love some more than others.
This was really hard for you.
It was. So 14 was also Whatever It Takes, because again, I love it, but and something about their voices together is really good, but it's just, it's fine. At the end of the day, it's fine. 13 is Respectless, and I don't know why I put it this low. It's just, again, I like it, but just not as much as the others.
Yeah.
12 is Hell's Greatest Dad.
Oh no.
I do really love, though, the aggressive fiddle playing Devil Went Down to Georgia reference.
Yes.
It's so good.
I mean, I'm from Georgia. I grew up on that song. I cannot tell you how many times I've listened to that song.
I know. 11 is More Than Anything Reprise, which is a solid place for it to be.
Hey, that matches.
Yeah. Then 10 is It Starts With Sorry, this is what I was saying. I've done this ranking before, like when the show was a little fresher in my mind. I haven't listened to it so many times. It Starts With Sorry was number 15 originally, I believe.
Oh.
So it's moved up. Just because I love the harmonies in it. It's so, like, it's an earworm for me. So 10 is Hell Is Forever. So we're in our top 10. Again, this is a great villain song, honestly.
Oh yeah.
In all of the ways.
It's your introduction to Adam.
It is. 9 is the finale, 8 is the finale. That's 8. Because that is just, I love hearing all of the different voices, especially because like some of the characters haven't sung before on the show. So being able to hear all of them and just kind of hear that callback to the opener, I love it. 7 is Out for Love. It's a great song. It's a bop. It's just as good in Spanish as it is in English because it sounds like it was written for both languages, and it honestly might have been.
I have to look into that.
6 is Poison.
Fair.
Again, it's a good song. 5 is Happy Day in Hell. It's our opener. It's an opener / I Want song, which I'll go into that in a little bit. It's a song that the melody works in my range, so I can sing it really well. But it's just a good song.
Yeah.
4 is Loser Baby. I think that's a lot of people's in people's top 5s a lot. Yeah. 3 for me is Stayed Gone because I think it's Vox, but also because Vox is so compelling, and the V's are going to be the main villain in season 2.
Yeah.
So I look forward to more. It's the most Christian Borle song ever, and I have no other way to describe that.
No, it makes complete sense. That makes complete sense.
The song is just Christian Borle, and there's something about the line, so it's the section that goes, while he hid in radio, we pivoted to video, now his medium is getting bloody rare. I love that. I don't know why. It's that now his medium is getting bloody rare. It's such a good metaphor.
It is.
It's so good. 2 is Ready for This because it's just such a fun song, and again, I love the so we say, oh hey, come join the flesh buffet. I don't know why it's so funny. It's I love songs with cannibalism jokes. What can I say?
Yeah, hey, I mean, Cannibal is a great time. You'll watch Fresh soon.
Cannibal Town is surprisingly nice.
I like it.
Which leaves number 1 to be You Didn't Know, which I think is very common.
That is, yeah. We both have that. I mean, it's so good.
It's such a good song. And the harmonies on Emily and Charlie at the end, just in the ear. It's so good.
Yeah. My defense for More Than Anything is that healed something inside of me.
No, which is fair. It did that for a lot of people.
I have listened to that song more times than I should admit. It has definitely healed something inside of me. Um, and you know, that's something I need to work on with a therapist that I need to seek. And I'm also very great. I can also sing it very, very well. Lucifer's part, not Charlie's.
Yeah.
But
Charlie's part is high.
it's very high, but I can sing Lucifer's part. That's easy. And that makes me happy because singing
Mm-hmm.
is healing.
There you go.
So where do I send my therapist bill is all I've got to say because
To
yeah,
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, they got the money.
Yeah, they can pay for it. So I said before that this show is like it's we said the runtime of it is it's just under 3 hours. It does feel like it's structured a lot like a stage musical. Because because it is. I mean, the runtime is just under 3 hours. Most stage musicals are about 2.5 hours, and the musical numbers follow a very familiar pattern. And I will try and
Mm-hmm.
make this rant not as long as it is in my notes, but I went deep on like the analysis of some of these song placements. Because you've got 2 songs per episode, 16 episodes over the course of 8 episodes. They're all very well paced out. Happy Day in Hell is our prime example, and I recognize before I keep saying that I'm saying don't compare it to Disney. Most of my comparisons are Beauty and the Beast on Broadway. It's fine.
See, I haven't seen it on Broadway, so
It'll work out in the end, I promise. But Happy Day in Hell is our opening song and also our I Want song, because the I Want
yes.
song is that classic, this is what our main character wants out of life. It's part of your world. It's
What's the one from Encanto?
Waiting for a Miracle.
Thank you.
I always use Part of Your World and Somewhere That's Green. They're the first ones that come to mind because, quite frankly, they're the same song.
Yeah, I feel like Encanto is a really good example because it was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, since someone straight from Broadway.
Mine were just both written by Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, and they quite literally called Part of Your World Somewhere That's Wet. So I love those two men. I love them so much. They're so good. It's perfect. Well, because it's just the same song.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a moment.
The ending is identical. Just saying. So there's that. But it's that. It's it's a darker version of Belle from Beauty and the Beast, but also you've got dark Good Morning Baltimore because you're seeing the whole world.
Yep.
With a little bit of Belle's reprise thrown in there, when her talking about how she wants to see the world, and her whole thing of like they'll see this dream that I dreamed that every soul can change. It shows us the world, what Charlie wants, and the story progresses through her plan and her actions, and then we get to see Hell is Forever, which is very much, I would put this as a villain song, more of the song Me from the Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, because that's him, that's Gaston, it's placed when he's about to propose to Belle.
Oh God!
In that moment where he's singing about what their life will be like together and what she can do for him.
No one wants that.
No one wants that. No. You've been dreaming just one dream nearly all your life. It's a song full of mansplaining.
I say that, yet we all love Adam in this.
Because he's such a dick.
He's such a dick.
And he doesn't care. This is my thing. I say this a lot about the Once Upon a Time villains, is that the ones that I find to be the most compelling are the ones that do not try to be any better. They will outright admit that they are an asshole. Because at least they're honest.
Like, yeah, an honest villain is better than a sneaky one, in my opinion.
Exactly. So that's my thing. So you have that with Hell is Forever. It's him. This is Hell is Forever, whether
you like it or not.
Had their chance to be better, now they boil in the pot. But there's also so many references, like in Adam's character, to just Adam Brightman's portrayal of Dewey Finn in School of Rock. Just with, you can't tell me, guitar solo, fuck yeah. You can't tell me that isn't Dewey Finn.
It is. It definitely is.
And also just them putting Stick It to the Man at the end, obviously, is definitely School of Rock. But as the music progresses, we have a lot of, we're seeing the characters grow through the songs. With It Starts With Sorry, you're seeing these emotional moments that are so heightened that talking doesn't work anymore. Your characters have to sing. That's where you get stuff like Poison. And then we kind of have this mood shift into something that's close to the end of the first act, where it gets a little more serious with More Than Anything, which could be considered a first act closer. However, if we consider the fact that first acts are usually longer than the second act by a significant amount, I would put the first act closer at You Didn't Know. I mean, like, I would consider Act 2 to just be those last 2 episodes.
That would make sense.
You Didn't Know is more of like that serious tonal shift, of turning point of like, Charlie's plan is not working. And our our objective has now gone from how do we save souls and send them to heaven to how do we protect ourselves and how do we fight back. And like that's what your first act closer is going to do, and that's your tonal shift. That's like kind of like your turning point of the story.
We just needed so much of the first act because we needed background on so much.
Exactly.
It's the first season.
Exactly. So that's where I would consider our first act closure to be. And then act 2 is where everything is changed. Now they have to fight. You've got Out for Love and Ready for This are your getting ready for battle songs, your calls to action, Ready for This also has elements of an 11 o'clock number, which that's usually also a solo. Kind of the one song that's usually a solo. But because it's an ensemble show, it makes sense that you have elements of them in bigger ensemble numbers, but they are both through the lens of Charlie. I do like, I like them more than I think Reprise. I was hoping we got something like that, like a romantic song for the two of them.
Yeah.
Because I know they are an existing relationship, but at the end of the day, they still deserve a little moment to be kind of cutesy and lovey. And
I think we'll get more of that in season 2.
I hope so. And then I said before, I love the finale. It's a great finale. It calls back, obviously, to the opener as it's a good closing image to an opening image, as it should be. And you get to hear all these characters come together, and it does something in my brain. I don't know what it does. Music is weird. But at the end of the day,
okay,
this is a stage musical in animated form.
With that, though, I think it's really interesting because what music plays in when it comes to so much with church and being a church goer, you always it is like a scientific type of thing when it comes to church music, that it pulls you in, it makes you feel emotional. I felt this way watching this, though, but in it from a deconstructed sense, and I thought that was really interesting because I feel like it did that for a lot of people, because so much of this is a very healing experience, because part of healing is realizing you're not the only one that's gone through things. So like Poison, for example, Survivor here, like been there, done that. I cried. So like it makes you process things. And that's why we get so attached. Not only that it's great, it's because we see ourselves within the work itself. So
yeah, absolutely.
It was, oh man.
Do you have any favorite lines?
I should have written that down.
Did you write down any? Just any that come to mind? I wrote down a couple.
So much of it's for me is like just the songs. Like so much of the songs. Like I said, with more than anything, when he's like admitting he's just like, I'm so proud of you, like pretty much telling her that he's so proud of her and he wants to see what she can do and he's going to support anything she does. Also made me cry, and I love just everything Nifty does.
That's fair.
Knowing that Alistair doesn't really like to cuss and just blatantly going "fuck you" to Lucifer was just a moment. What is it that he says during the finale after Adam nearly kills him? I can't remember the words because my brain doesn't work after. We're on our 3rd podcast episode recording of the night.
It's been a long night. Well, right after he slices his staff, he just goes, wait, what just happened?
Yeah. The voice change, because it was amazing. There's so much I want to pick apart with these characters. It's not even funny. Yeah. Which I'm sure we could talk for days about these characters.
Absolutely could.
Absolutely could. I want to hear your lines though, because I just can't think of any right now. I should have written some down, but it's been a week.
It's been a week, a day,
a month,
a year. A year. I mean, I have a bunch. Mine are more on the funny side, like if anything. I just have, I mean, we've all, I think, heard the TikTok sound. Oh, come now, Alistair. She's much too young for you. Oh, I'm just teasing. I know you're an ace in the hole. What now?
It's like we have all realized it before he did.
We did. Again, another TikTok sound. What? They say insane shit all the time. How was I supposed to know this? No, this one was true. Bank accounts are scams created by the shadow government. See?
God, that's such a fucking good one. Because it's been used so many times.
It has. Something about the line that Angel does at the very beginning, when like he's like saying like they should just use him for the commercial. Like, I got the legs, the lung capacity, the gag reflex, the chest flip. Everyone thinks it tits. It's just the way he keeps going.
It's just all these characters. They say just the best things.
This one might be my favorite because again, it's the delivery and it's the beauty of. I didn't say this before. Lute is Jessica Vosk.
You got
who's
this.
been Elphaba on Broadway. Like, again, amazing, amazing people. So it's her and Adam in the battle scene. Like, they appear to have some sort of shield, sir. Oh, really? I didn't see this giant fucking shield right in front of me. You dumb bitch. No shit. It's just, it's
That's what we're
so
all thinking. They say the shit we're all thinking.
exactly like no shit. Sherlock comes to mind.
Exactly. And then, like I said, everything Nifty says. Everything Nifty says.
Everything Nifty says,
And does. When she's like trying
and
to jump
does.
over the ledge. When Vaggie throws everybody and Nifty jumps over because she's like, fuck this, I'm going. Like, it's just. Yeah. I'm going to rewatch it. I'm going to have to go. I'm going to be up late after we're done with this, and I'm just going to turn Hazbin Hotel back on.
So I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Hazbin Hotel and didn't touch on the fandom, as we did talk a little bit about them in our special last month.
Yes.
But now Katie has context. I feel like
so much more context.
So much more context now, but I feel like cosplay as well as like adult versus teen spaces needs to be a thing to be discussed.
Yes.
Because I see so many videos of people like comparing a bunch of different cosplayers, and my instinct to go is no, absolutely not. That's not what this community is, because people, I feel like a lot of people are coming into this fandom. They're coming into this this type of fandom for the first time, and they're bringing in these elements that are from other spaces online, like the music space or like the makeup space or the fashion space, and like, oh, people will compare who did this side better. I'm like, okay, that's great for that community. Cosplay doesn't do that. Cosplay understands that everyone is at different levels of their skill, what they can afford in way of tools. Like when it comes to lip syncing, the acting skill.
Yeah.
Everyone's at different levels. So like telling people that you think that this person did it better, the person did it differently. They did it with a different set of tools. I saw one Luke cosplayer, she was in a wheelchair with a cannula. She looked amazing.
I mean, you also had the people that would literally take the different videos of all the different cosplayers and put them together and have people like, which one's your favorite? Like, no. I've seen the few that they had like all different characters together singing like a song together. That's different because you've got all different characters, all all different cosplayers.
That wasn't necessarily comparing. That was more like they were all doing with the parts that you didn't know.
But when you're actively putting up all these different, Loot was the main one I saw.
I see that a lot because there a lot of Luke cosplayers. That was not terribly complicated to put together, and if you do a cosplay, you can kind of just do it from the chest up.
I need to find. There's got to be somebody who's done Charlie though, but like Battle Charlie with the
I've seen a couple Battle
the
Charlies.
Tail. Yeah. I haven't yet. If you see one, send it to me. I just want to see. Okay. Because I love Charlie like that. It's amazing. I've seen some Lucifer, plenty of Husk, and Husk is not an easy one.
No, people do Husk amazingly.
I applause all around because seriously. Don't know how to do any of that.
Now, people with the contacts and all the other people, I'm like, I will do my weird voiceovers. Thank you and end of day. I knew it was going to happen.
I love it. But then going into adult and teen fandom spaces.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's start with the fact that technically this show, for the most part, is marketed to teens and young adults.
It is, however, the creator does explicitly say this is an adult show. Like, just because it's 16 plus does not still mean that it is for teens at the end of the day. That's just what Amazon decided to categorize it at, because I think they might not have been able to categorize the entire thing as 18 plus.
I feel like enough of it at 16 and up makes sense. As somebody who dealt with what she did in life, I think it's okay for most 16-year-olds to consume. But that's when you start getting into the cosplay and fandom community. 18-year-olds and older should probably not be doing things with 16-year-olds in the same fandom.
They should not. And this is, before we kind of talk about like keeping these spaces separate, I want to say this because I want to be as unambiguous as possible. What we say may sound exclusionary. And if someone goes into this and they're under 16, they're under 18, and they feel like we're telling them that they shouldn't do something or they can't go somewhere, you're probably interpreting that correct, because we want this to be left in no uncertain terms that teens do not belong in adult spaces. No one would be arguing that a 15-year-old should be able to go into a bar if they want to, right? Like, so I want this to be taken seriously, because people will interpret this as like, I think a lot of teens will hear this and think, oh, well, I'm the exception. No, you're not. When I say that, I'm not saying you don't belong in teen spaces because we're just trying to be adults that don't want to hang out with kids. I'm saying this in a place of we want to keep you safe.
Yeah. I'm saying this is I'm 30 and I should not be anywhere near a 15-year-old that is not my child.
Exactly. Like th- for as try as we might, there are still people that need to do younger cosplayers that don't know any better harm. Unfortunately,
Yes.
that's they get into these spaces. And the best way to keep yourself safe is to not engage with them, is to only cosplay or if you're going to
Mm-hmm.
do fan fiction or something like that, is to only engage in these spaces with people who you know, who are your own age, who you trust. And I do want that to be very specific. We're not doing this just because we don't want this just because we want to keep our spaces fun, whatever. We are, again, I can only speak for myself, but I think we're both in the same place here
Yeah.
of we are doing this and talking about this like this because we want to keep teen cosplayers and teen fandom people safe because that's the only way to do it is do not engage with people that you know are over 18 in these fandoms
Exactly.
because you do not know who's well-meaning because truthfully someone over 18 who tells a teenager or someone who's under 18 that they should be able to cosplay wherever they want or go wherever they want and go to these meetups is not your friend. They just aren't.
And it's for their safety. Like, keep in mind, this is not us. It's being exclusionary, but it's for your own safety.
Exactly.
That's what it boils down to.
It does because like teens deserve their own spaces and like there are
Mm-hmm.
teens in this fandom. I'm not saying no one has an hotel. At the end of the day, we can't really tell you what to watch.
Yeah, that's between you and your parents.
That's up to you. And but if you're gonna engage in these spaces, you know, I was in the RP space for the last time for 5 or 6 years. I was over 18 the entire time, and I was very diligent. I made sure that I wasn't writing with anyone who was under 18 because I knew at that point that there was a boundary there that I shouldn't be writing anything, like little like
Mm-hmm.
regardless of themes with people who were under 18 at my age. It's just not. It didn't make me feel comfortable, and I put that up as a boundary. If I am over 18, please be honest with me about your age. And if I find out you've been lying to me, you're absolutely going to get blocked. But lying does nothing but put everyone at risk. So
Exactly. That puts people in danger.
it does.
And we just want you to be safe.
We want you to have fun. We want you to cosplay. Also, I mean, this is another, like I usually say, this, I would say, I was going to say not to gatekeep, but this is one thing that I do kind of want to gatekeep. If you're under 18, please do not cosplay as Angel.
Yeah,
He is a porn star.
that's and also like actively being abused.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that, trust me.
So, yeah. So, like, this is one thing of like,
Which
if you
and
look,
not saying like anything's wrong with porn stars. Like
no, not at all.
sex worker positive here.
Very much.
But a child should not be. And yes, at 16 you are still considered a child. Should not be cosplaying a sex worker.
Exactly. And like this, when it comes to fandom meetups, like I can't even say I've ever been to any cosplay meetups as an adult. I just I haven't had any desire to.
I
But
haven't.
you know, I've seen people will meet up, they'll take pictures, like they'll take the big group pictures, but people will take pictures with individual cosplayers, and like I can't imagine being an adult and getting home and seeing I've been tagged in like a shippy photo with someone who cosplayed as the other half of my character's ship, and finding out the person I was taking photos with was 16.
I'd be
Like
uncomfortable.
that's not okay. That's not safe for the adult either.
Oof.
Because so it's like as I say, like when we say about keeping teens and so teens, if you can keep yourself safe, but also adults, let teens have their own spaces.
Yes.
Like because this is a show that will have teens. So like I posted an alt like I said before, I posted an alt key cover of Loser Baby doing just Husk's part. That's so hard to say. It's Husk with a
It is.
and watch me in the end. And I put in the caption respectfully, like duets are open, but respectfully, if you are under 18, do not duet this video. As a personal boundary of mine, because this song is not the song itself is got all the language in it, but it's still this is an 18 I am an adult.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want people engaging. People ask me with once upon a time stuff. Oh, can I tag you in my video? I'm doing this, and I was saying like you don't tell me how old you are, but I'll if you do this, if you do or not do this, I'll have my answer. Only tag me if you're over 18.
Yeah.
That's a boundary. If you're not over 18, please do not tag me. And most people are very respectful of that. They're very happy about.
Yeah, and it's
Because
good
I'm
to
like
have boundaries.
I'm upfront about it. I'm like, because I'm 28. I know that I look young, but I am 28, and it's
Mhm.
not okay for me to tag people's content. Like there are people that just tag me things, and I'll take a real quick look at their account, and if I see that if I can't immediately tell how old they are, I don't even watch the video I've been tagged in
That's understandable.
because it makes me feel safer that way.
It's it's a tough one because we
It
want teens
is.
to have their space. We do. We want you to be able to enjoy things. completely. But the problem is we don't have enough spaces for teens, I feel, anymore.
We don't.
Like, it doesn't exist. I mean, even as adults, we don't have third places
No.
anymore, really. And I hope maybe, like, there is a way to try and find more teen spaces, but the problem is we kinda go from this young kid, like, a little bit older kid, preteen shows, and
Mhm.
then they jump them up from there to, like, Euphoria.
Yeah, we've lost kind of like that Disney Channel level of things. Like we've
Yeah.
gone down from like Disney Junior almost to like right into ABC. Like
We
not that
really
ABC
have.
is particularly gritty, but
Well, I mean, we still had things like, let's use the example of Boy Meets World. When we first started
yeah.
watching Boy Meets World, he was young, it was Disney Channel. Once they reached a certain age, they moved them to ABC so it could grow, so that it
Hmm.
could grow with the people watching it. We
Yeah.
don't get that as much anymore. We kind of go from like what my kid watches, Bluey, stuff like that. My daughter, she likes to watch like Wizards of Waverly Place, Spunked.
Hmm.
She really loves like some other animated stuff like Owl House. Um, but, like, I'm like, "What is she gonna watch after this?
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Once she grows out of this, what is she going to watch?" Because I hope hey, if you have suggestions, please give them to me because I have no idea what she grows into that's not adult animation.
Yeah. I
Because while
mean,
we allow some Bob's Burgers, I could never let my, like, 14-year-old watch Family Guy or Has
no,
Been
no.
or any of the things that are out, so I'm like, if she gets into, like, more stuff that are, like, anime or something, like Naruto or
Hmm.
even, like, maybe if my brain, Avatar: The Last Airbender, stuff like
Yeah.
that, that is a little bit like, some of the stuff tends to get a little bit older, but
Hmm.
not explicit.
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe she'll get into that stuff like that because I don't know what she's gonna watch. They don't like, I don't think it exists really.
No, it doesn't. And like
Like,
even
even
like
like
like media that is meant to be for teens, I think young adult literature, because we're
mhm,
both readers,
yeah.
it's teens
I
like
read
because
a
like
lot of YA.
we're both adults. We both read YA. We don't. We You and I don't talk about it quite as much as other people are very vocal about their YA
Yeah.
thing. That's my thing of like adults again have that because again it's I think it's more of a generational thing of we as adults we were teens when like the big wave of YA. Like
Yes.
we were the target demographic and people kind of just keep reading the same thing,
Hunger
which is
Games,
perfectly
Divergent,
yeah.
Twilight, all that was, like, when we were teenagers.
Yeah, so people, because I get the reading the familiar aspects of things, but by doing so, we're kind of removing that teen space. And like
Yep.
I have a library school degree. I've taken courses on resources for young adults about how we can maintain these teen spaces and make sure, especially in libraries specifically, how teen spaces can be maintained. And people on the internet going like, "What if I want to check out a YA book from the library? I can't go in and get it." They're like, "No, you can go into the
You
teen
can go
space
and
and
get it.
grab the book." But at the end of the day, you grab the book and then you leave. You don't hang out in the section. Don't sit down and read the book there. Go back out into into the rest of the library. Let the teens have a space to be themselves, because it's just I was like it's just and people wanting like to age up these things like they said they want spice their way. Like no, you don't want spice with 16-year-old characters.
No, you don't. Anybody who says, like, "Oh, I read this YA book, but I really wish there was spice," get out of the YA section, please.
Like
Please
if you
get out.
want,
New adult exists.
it
Get out of
does.
the YA section. I'm actually an influencer with specifically one of the YA imprints of a publisher. I'm not going to say who.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so I get a lot of YA books a year to read, to
Hmm.
review. And there are a lot of times that if the book is too young for me, like to the sense, the voice and whatever's happening, and it's too young for me, I'll try my
Hmm.
best to review it in the lens of how it will be for the age it's set for. But apart from that, I'm not as interested.
Which is fair.
There's some YA books that I do still love. Like I
Hmm.
could name you a few. They're absolutely phenomenal. I think young adults and teens and adults could all read and get something out of the book.
Exactly.
But if we don't like, and I feel like that's why YA books and other media like for these ages has changed so much
Hmm.
because it grew. We've grown up and we still enjoy it, but like, is it now changing to where that media is more more directed towards us and not who it's actually meant for,
Yeah.
which is
Hmm.
frustrating to say the
It
least.
is. It is frustrating.
Yeah.
All this to say, teen spaces, the lack. I mean, there's lack of spaces for everybody. It's not just teens, but
Yes.
the lack of teen spaces is a problem, and we shouldn't make it worse by either
Mhm.
inserting ourselves in their spaces or allowing them in ours. Because by allowing
Yeah.
them in, because it both ways are it's just gonna make everything harder for everyone else at the end of the day.
Yeah, but as adults, we can try to allow them to have their own space or help them
Hmm.
build their space and of like letting them have it.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy our space, make sure they're not, like, nothing's clashing, but we need to be able to, as adults, to say, like, more adults need to be able to say, "I love that we both love this thing, but I can't interact with you with this. Please go talk to your friends." Like,
Yeah,
friends who are
exactly.
your age.
Hmm.
But because like, we've lost a lot of these spaces because when we were teenagers, there were arcades and
Yeah.
things were affordable to do. We hung out at the
Hmm.
mall. We did
Yep.
things. Teens don't get that as much now,
No, they don't.
and
And
it's
like,
sad.
yeah, exactly. And the moral of the story is, if there are any teenagers listening to this, get your friends to watch your favorite media, like we have.
Yeah, that's what we do. And, yeah.
Because that's the best way you can be safe. You can know that everyone you're talking to is going to be, someone that you can trust to share opinions with, even
Mhm.
if they're different. Like how we had differing opinions on the songs,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
okay.
doesn't start and it doesn't start a fight.
It doesn't, because opinions are subjective.
Opinions are subjective, and people are people, and their opinions will be different.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time back at our regularly scheduled slot to talk more about all things Once Upon a Time and Bob's Burgers. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our new book club, check out the link in the show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.